We are moving on to our next topic, marketing with purpose, building trusted brand experience in the digital world. So presented by Ms. Barbara, Audience Marketing Manager at Microsoft. With over 10 years of experience in the marketing and advertising industry, Barbara is specialized in building strategic perspective for brands and products to grow across multiple markets and multiple audiences. Welcome, Ms. Barbara.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for the invitation. Okay, I assume you can all hear me, so I'm going to start presenting my screen. Can anybody say if you can see my screen?
Yes, Barbara, we can.
Okay, amazing. Very well. Okay, I think that we are all good. So yeah, thank you very much. It's an honor for me to be here with people who are like me, a marketer. So you are my colleagues, and I hope that the message I'm telling you today can be useful and inspiring for the marketing community. I think we all can agree this past year has been the toughest we've had in our lifetimes, and 2021 is still difficult in some aspects. What marketers have discovered on our journey has been helping us step up, recover, respond. Health and safety concerns have increased. I believe the demand for how we need to show up for people, how we show up for consumers is getting clearer, and what people expect from marketers and brands is getting bolder. My name is Bárbara Quesada. I'm marketing manager at EMEA Microsoft Advertising, and this is my story on how to do marketing with purpose successfully in a digital world. The one guiding principle we use at Microsoft Advertising and where everything begins is purpose. At Microsoft, we are grateful for our close partnership with our customers around the world and for the research and work that we have done over the past couple of years within Microsoft Advertising. I am so excited because it has led us to this moment where I'm going to share with all of you the insights and illuminating data from our research studies on consumer behavior and what consumers really matter about in the area of the boom of digital services. In one of our research studies called The Psychology of Inclusion and the Effects in Advertising, we found out that companies that lead with purpose are more trusted and loved. It helps them endure and thrive through tough times, because it inspires loyal connections with their employees, with their communities, and their customers. Purpose fuels a genuine human connection. It allows us to respond under pressure in uncertain times with focus, clarity, and authenticity. Having a clear brand purpose leads to authenticity. And authenticity is the #1 brand attribute that leads to trust. So clear brand purpose leads to authentic, trusted brand experiences. The world is in an inflection point. It's time for us to get to the very core purpose of a modern corporation and what it means for the world going forward. That's what our world demands of us. This is what Satya Nadella, CEO at Microsoft, said last year. As we begin to see the light at the end of a horrible pandemic, many things in the world as we knew it have changed. The era of COVID has left the world with a lot of questions as how to move forward. As an organization, we've been thinking deeply about what this means for marketing and how we can meet this moment and the many more that will follow it. I'm bringing you some really great insights to take you along with us on this journey. And I hope that you live with a better understanding of the task that we all have at hand. First of all, let me put some emphasis on the importance of what's Microsoft's purpose and our mission as an example for other brands and a reference on how to make your mission be real and practical. Our mission is empower every person and organization on the planet to achieve more. The key to this statement is every person. It challenges us as a company to ask the question, are we truly empowering every person? This led to our cultural shift of striving to be even more inclusive and to focus on all the people with all types of disabilities, physical and cognitive. Did you know there's 1 billion people with disabilities around the globe? This is an incredible opportunity to ensure we develop for them and include those who often are excluded from participating in the same way as majority of us do. I'm talking about value people and put the consumer or the client in the center. I'm talking about inclusion. I am proud of working at an organization where the fundamental shift in our transformation as a company was going from an inside-out view, focusing on our products and devices and services, to an outside-in view, focusing on people, all people, and everything that makes them unique, including values. I mentioned before I was going to speak about some findings from our research studies and consumer behaviors. Well, one of our research shows values drive more value. What someone values, not just who they are based on generic demographics, is the starting point for a trusting relationship between brand and consumer that leads to incredible loyalty. Based on our findings, my recommendation for you is to make your brand values clear. What is your mission on this planet? It starts there. Ask yourself, what are your brand attributes and promises connected to a bigger purpose? How do they relate to your product trust? Once you have the answer to those questions, try to consider your sustainability and sustainable business practices and your accessible customers' experiences. And finally, your inclusive initiatives to bring more equitable customer experiences. Because how you do your business is also your marketing. Expressing your brand's values at every level is what it'll take to build a trusted connection with people and what they value. That will drive growth, business growth. In a research called The Acceleration of Brand Performance Through Trust, Love, and Loyalty, we discover 85% of consumers say they'll only consider a brand if they trust the brand. So it's critical in starting, maintaining, and building a relationship with the customer. No matter what your brand's mission is, once the trust is established, the reward is greater brand love and loyalty. And of course, there are varying degrees of trust. People still do business with companies they may not necessarily trust 100%. Think companies that dominate a market or provide convenience or savings, and for whom there is limited direct competition. People will sometimes make that trade-off, but once they are given an alternative, they are gone. Marketing with purpose is about building genuine, customized, and authentic relationships with people through responsibility, values, and inclusion in marketing and across your business. Reason why we conducted several consumer research studies was to understand the drivers of a trusted relationship and the actions brands can take to grow trust and brand value. What we learned is that there are 3 core building blocks to trust: responsibility, values, and inclusion, which when a brand operates with these building blocks, front and center, brands can create a relationship with people that leads to incredible loyalty. But in the past, our lives have been disrupted, right? Limiting as much contact with others as possible became the norm. And with this isolation and lockdown around the world, digital consumption skyrocketed. A study by Double Verify showed global digital media consumption shoot up by 111%, from an average of 3.3 hours to 7 hours. This digital escapism, however, hasn't been able to offset the mental toll the pandemic introduced to many. A study conducted in August 2020 by the Harris Poll showed that 1 in 5 adults reported that their mental health was worse than the same time last year. In isolation, people are feeling a stronger need for authentic and fulfilling connection. Digital storytelling is at the forefront of this. But let's get a better understanding of where some of the current inequities due to the pandemic come from. In particular, women who disproportionately occupy many of the jobs within industries that felt the brand, such as travel, tourism, and retail, were largely impacted. In this latest 2020 recession, there were 2.5 percentage points more women unemployed compared to the 2008 recession. This was also impacted women's outside roles in childcare. Compared to non-pandemic times, mothers experienced the most dramatic labor participation, dips out fathers, women, and men. Many other communities were impacted as well. People with disabilities are 2 times more likely to be unemployed. With COVID exacerbating physical and mental health risk for those with disabilities, there are now 1 billion people globally at risk of further complicating their ability to care for themselves. More than 70% of Hispanic and Black Americans are without emergency funds to cover 3 months of expenses. This drops to 48% for white Americans. Globally, the sentiment reflects a similar reality. 87% of people think COVID will lead to more income inequality in their country, while 66% think COVID will lead to more racial inequality. As marketers, we have the responsibility to respond to the invitation for an authentic conversation. COVID has put major issues into the forefront that will help define these conversations. Healthcare access, education, economic stability, and social stability are all elements that determine the level of love and trust a society is able to feel. 2 things we know are essential to building loyalty. The results of our research show that a brand that is genuine and authentic is the top attribute in building trust, brand love, and loyalty with people. And 72% of respondents in our survey stated they are more likely to support brands that are authentic in their advertising. So trust improves brand and advertising performance. But achieving that status, ensuring people feel seen, heard, and understood so that you come across as genuine and authentic in your purpose is critical. I'm going to share a graph, which is the result of our studies on inclusion and trust. We call it the loyalty curve, where the 3 core building blocks of trust were discovered, and where we could see that brand trust and brand love are highly linked. As trust in a brand increases, so does people's expression of love for the brand. The higher the trust rating, the higher respondents were amazed by those brands. Our findings uncover the necessary actions you see here that marketers can take to increase trust, create brand love, and develop customer loyalty. These are top brands, attributes, and actions that you can take that build growth through trusted customer experiences. These attributes come directly from our research and indexed very high against the 3 areas of trust, love, and loyalty. The key is demonstrating responsibility, values, and inclusion. And an example of a company that does marketing with purpose is Crocs. This brand understands values drive value. When COVID-19 hit, Crocs, like so many brands, was significantly impacted. Their response was to take care of their employees, their consumers, and their fans. They launched a program for healthcare workers called Free Pair Healthcare, with an astounding 860,000 pairs of Crocs donation. As healthcare workers have always been part of their consumer base, and especially as their products are easy to clean and easy to get on and off, it simply made so much sense. There was a need that only they could fulfill. with the stores closed, they decided to interact directly with the healthcare workers through the Crocs websites. It allowed them to really get something going quickly and getting shoes out of the people in need. They gave away between 10,000 to 20,000 pairs of shoes a day, for a total of just over 860,000 over the course of the campaign. And they increased the organic traffic from people coming to the site. Crocs demonstrated everyone their values and acted consciously, taking a stand in one of the worst times for the society. This is an incredible example of marketing with purpose. We're finding out that consumers support those that support their values. We know that 63% of consumers expect companies to continue efforts around social and environmental issues, even after the pandemic. 67% wanted brands to donate to people who have lost wages. 71% of Americans believe companies have more responsibility than ever before to address social justice issues. Many are feeling a sense of responsibility for the inequities we see, but a disconnect from the systems that control them. So we turn to the systems we do somewhat control with our purchase intent, brands. If we want to gain the trust of our consumers, we have to look beyond what they want and focus on what they expect and need. Meeting these consumer expectations can lead to an increase in trust. But trust is even harder to gain and maintain digitally. Only less than half consumers agree that most online campaigns can be trusted with even their most basic personal information. This drops to 37% for the youngest consumer generation. Many SMBs in particular did not have the benefit of a scale to shift over to digital quickly in response to COVID. Now that we are nearing the end of the pandemic, hopefully, the questions remain. How do we maintain these digital relationships? And how do we continue to evolve to build trust in this new world? Overall, the important takeaway here is that consumers are going through many economic and personal disruptions. And all of these play into their spending decisions and choice for brands and products. Brands who really want to connect with their customers in the current world must create experiences based on 3 core building blocks to trust. And we've summarized 5 key steps to help you build more trusted customers' experiences. People want the truth and transparency. People want equitable experiences, not just compliance. People want brands that take a stand, not just play it safe. People want positive impact products. And people want inclusion, not just be included. We are here to help you in each of these areas to build a brand that is among the most trusted, beloved, and valued. And remember, marketing with purpose is the difference between earning a customer for a day and gaining a customer for life. If you have felt inspired today and want to learn more, you can visit our website. You can find the link in this slide. I really wish you all the best in your new adventure to do marketing with purpose. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Barbara. So there is a question on how to build a better online brand experience for our customers.
Yeah, I can answer this. So thank you very much for the question. Well, at Microsoft Advertising, we've been doing a lot of research work on online consumer behavior. So one of the best keys, to really create brand experiences, online brand experiences for our customers and clients, is to really base your mission, your purpose to generate trust and to really value the people you are working for. And this means that you really need to understand who they are and what they really value. What I can give you at a general level is I can invite you to join the website that I can post in the chat later, and you can find multiple assets and materials here that can help you to understand what are the key elements that you need to include when you are doing marketing, when you are running campaigns, or even when you are creating a new vision inside of your organization or your team. There are multiple videos, trainings, and materials that you can read there and find the keys and try to understand this from an inner side so that you can also express this in an outside way for your customer. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Barbara, we have another question from Laura. As we all know, in digital marketing, nothing is permanent. We keep on changing. So the question here is about how to manage to actively listen to the potential customers, the users or the consumers, because we also observe their habits keep changing.
Yeah, well, there are multiple channels nowadays to listen to our customers and consumers, and research and surveys are one of these channels, right? It's all about the sample size that you are managing when you are doing this research. It's all about also the methodology that you are using here. But when you really ask the right questions in the right time, as we did during the pandemic times, you can really get a very highly valued feedback from your consumers.
So it's about having the right questions to the group that we have. Right. So the next question from Andrew. Do you think asking the customers directly via real market research is the best way to learn what target market wants?
Yeah, as I was saying, the market research is a great channel to listen to the voice of your customers. And it all depends, on the resources and the questions and the content that you really add in that methodology. But for Microsoft advertising in particular, this is a very valid channel to listen to our customers, but not the only one, right? This is only one of these, but not the only one. But thank you for the question.
So what would be the best other options on other than asking the question?
I assume that all the options aside from the research. Is that correct?
Yeah.
We assume
from the
that.
research, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, one of the most valid points here is that you can talk to your customers in face-to-face meetings, right? But sometimes, and depending on your bandwidth, that only lets you to a moment where you can feel or you can hear the feedback from one or few customers, right? This is not a sufficient sample in terms of sizes. So I would really recommend, that research or listening people through social media reactions and comments in your brand channels. Those are the right channels to listen to massive consumer bases.
How has the global pandemic affected the SMEs in adopting to digital marketing, and what strategies can SMEs implement to enhance their digital presence based on Microsoft strategies?
Well, thank you very much for the question. This is quite specific to the SME industry. I would say here that there are multiple ways to tackle this and to create your digital strategies. The way that I'm advocating for today is to do marketing with purpose from the very inner side in the organization to the advertising and marketing campaigns. But there are multiple ways. So marketing with purpose is my bet, for all type of audiences, industries, and type of companies.
So any tips to build on brand trust using emotional aspect?
Tips to build brand trust. In our research and in the work we've been doing by creating materials, and even we've created a playbook that is really useful for companies and even for consumers if they want to learn more about it. You can find a list of multiple recommendations and even practical tactics that you can put in practice. You can also find some tips or recommendations in terms of wording that you should include in your advertising campaigns that really drives to inclusion and accessibility, and it's related also to responsibility and sustainability. So I can drop the link to the website where you can find this playbook, which is called Marketing with Purpose, as the title in my presentation. I can drop here in the chat later, and you can find that.
All right. So I know based on the presentation, also have another one. Is it important to have separate marketing plan for each social media platforms to make customers engaging? It is about the social media platforms if we are using it.
Well, social media, social channels, or social media is one of the multiple marketing disciplines that marketers have at our hand to use. And nowadays, it's really critical, in the world that we are living in a digital world. So you really need to be conscious and careful of all the communication strategies that you are implementing in social media. Marketing with Purpose gives you clues and tips to use the right wording, the right messaging, the right elements when you are creating campaigns or creating messages, or banners to post through social media.
Okay. So the next question is from our attendee. What are the target groups that are the most difficult to reach or to listen to at Microsoft Advertising?
That is a very, very good question. And actually, I don't know the answer because I'm not expert in methodology, for consumer research here. But I guess that those who are smaller groups that potentially be, the toughest for us, because you might not be comparing, in a right sample size. It is a good question, but sorry, I don't have the exact answer here.
All right. So thank you very much, Barbara, for sharing your time with us and enlightening us about, building or marketing with a purpose. So thank you very much.